Hello, this is Shubhendu from Steamworks Studio, and we're going to learn Scratch today. Steamworks Studio is a place where we have a lot of online class that is available for kids to sample and learn coding, 3D printing, art programs, and much, much more. Okay, let's get started. So today's plan is in our Scratch program, we're going to make a game. Scratch is a wonderful tool where we are going to make a game which looks like this. Whenever I start the game, you can get Mr. Gobo to make colorful things like this. If I press space, you can change the characters and you can change it again. If you hit the clear button, everything will go back to clearing the screen and you can create back other images like this. So this is what we are planning to do in our programs today. Okay, so how do we get started? We go to scratch.mit.edu like this. Go to create. Once you are here, you can close down the little pop-up that comes up by clicking on X. So in our program, we need three pieces of things that can move or you can work with. So the first thing is we're going to click on the X right here because we are not going to use the cat. We're going to delete it by clicking on the X right here. Once the sprite is gone, we're going to pick our own sprite and let's start looking at this particular icon right here. So click on that. Once you click on this, you will get a whole set of icons that you can use. We're going to close the annotation 1 second. Okay, so now this is called the Sprite Library. It has lots of sprites. In our case, we're going to look for the sprite called G-O-B-O, Gobo. So you can go to the search bar and type that. Now you have Mr. Gobo. You would see that right on the screen once Gobo has been selected. Make sure you're not selecting things from the backdrop. You are selecting from the sprite bar. Very, very careful. The next thing that we want is a clear button because that button will allow us to clear what is being drawn on the screen. So to go there, we again look for another sprite from the Sprite Library and we are going to type the word button. And you will see there's many kinds of buttons. We will select the blue button right here. And now we have a button. The button can be moved towards the bottom right here of the screen. And we can give it a name by typing in this box here where it says Sprite. And we're going to call it clear because we're going to be able to use it for clearing the screen. Okay, so now you have a Gobo and a clear button. So the first thing that we're going to do is go back to the button and we're going to write something over here. Right now it's a clear button. In order to do that, we will need to go right here. Costumes. So make sure you go and click on costumes first. Once you click on that, you will see the button all right in the middle. Now we go and click on the text box right here because we want to write something there. So we click on that text and then we click somewhere in the middle of the button and we want to write the word clear. Like that, C-L-E-A-R. But I don't like the color. I want to make it white. So what I can do here is go back and choose the color bar and make it all white. Now if I click here and type, it'll be all nice and clean. Okay, so now I have the clear button. When I click outside, you see that there's a bar in here. That would allow me to move it and place it right in the center, like so. Now that we have done with that, we can go back and click on code. Instead of costumes and sounds, you click on code. Okay, so we have a go button, we have clear. Now let's go and think in terms of what needs to get done. When I click on the clear button, it should wipe away anything that we have over here. So how do we do that? So the first thing I would like you to do next is, if you see my screen right now, I'm going to point to this button right here, the plus mark right here. So go here and click on this. You would see many little tiles here. The one that we are interested is all about drawings. It's called the pen tile right here. So click on the pen tile. Once you have that added, you will see pen as an icon with lots of blocks available to you. Now we're going to go back to the code for clear for the button, and we're going to first click on events, which is an orange color or yellow colored button right here, a circular button called events. What we want to do is, when I click on this sprite, that means when I click on the clear button, what do I want to do? I want to clear everything. Whatever I draw, I want to clear that. So what I need to do is go to pen and click on erase all. Now whatever I have drawn, when I click on the clear button, it is going to erase everything. So that's one big step done. Now we're going to go and do the next part, which is all about moving and having different characters, etc. So we'll go back to Gobo. Everything around the clear button has been done now. We go, make sure that you click on Gobo. Now, if we want to get Gobo running, the first thing I want to do is introduce not only Gobo, but other characters. How am I going to do that? This is again something to do with adding more costumes. So we must go to costumes and click over there. So we go to costumes. You see in this costumes window that there are 3 different Gobo already present. We really do not need all of them. We just need one of them. We're going to go and click on the X mark right next to the second one and the third one. So we have one Gobo now. That's all good, but we want to be able to use other pictures and other characters. The way to do that is to go and click on this button right here. So let's do that. We're going to click on this button and choose other characters. One of the other famous characters in Scratch is Nano. So you can type N-A-N-O and you can get Nano right there. So now we have a Gobo and a Nano. Similarly, you can choose your own custom character, whichever you like. I like the ball, so I'm going to click on the ball, the yellow ball. So now I have Gobo, Nano, and a ball. So we are all set with all my characters that I need to introduce. Okay, let's go back into the code so that we can start moving these characters over. So next, we are going to go and look for events. Whenever I start the game, I want to put when green flag clicked, like this is the go button. Whenever I click on that, that's when the game would start. So what's the first thing I want to do? I want to make sure that my character is always centered right in the middle of the screen. So I would say when I will say go to 0, 0. What it means is you are at the middle of the screen. 0, 0 in Scratch is the middle point right in the middle of this window. So make sure you first go and click go to 0, 0. Next, we want to make it move We want to make it move. And we want to make sure that when it touches the sides, it bounces off. So in order to do that, we first, if there's some old drawing out there, that means we played the game and we had lots of things on the screen. We want to make sure that we delete and have a very, very clear window the minute I start a new game. So we should go back to pen and do an erase all to make sure that everything is clean when we start, before we start drawing anything. Okay, so now we have positioned the character and we have cleared the screen. We are ready to go. How do I move things? We go to motion, and the move button, as you see here in the motion, the move block allows you to move in little steps, let's say 5 steps. If I click on this, you will see that the ball moves. That means if I repeat it enough times, it'll keep on moving around. In order to do that, we have to do again and again. That is, the command is forever, like we are doing it again and again, forever. Now, if I run the program to test it, you will see what I mean. You see it move. What it did not do was rebound back or reflect from the sides of the wall. In order to do that, I can go back to motion, and there's a special block, and please note that there's a scroll bar that lets you scroll down, or you can use the mouse middle circle like the so that you can scroll down, and you will see this block called if on edge bounce. If I put that in, you will notice if I test the program, the ball starts to move and it'll keep on bouncing from the sides. That's good news. So we are able to make the ball move all around. Now, what it does not do, if you look at my old project, when I started the program, it was following my mouse. Wherever my mouse was, that's where this was following, right? So that's, to get that effect, the thing that we must do is point towards mouse pointer. So we must put that point toward mouse pointer. So now wherever my mouse is, that's where the ball is going to go. And if it hits the side walls, it's going to try to reflect off that. But it's basically following wherever my mouse is. That's all good. Now, what it doesn't do right now is change its shape whenever I hit spacebar. So how do we do that? That is not related to the movement. So what we are going to do is have a parallel script. What we're going to do is we're going to say when clicked, when space bar is kicked. That is, remember, when space is kicked, that is when we have a change of costume. What we need to do is go to looks and do the next costume. So now, if I run the program, change the costume changes like that. I see that the characters are really, really big. So one thing we can do to make or fix it is we can set size at the beginning of the game to 50%. If 50% means half the size. Now if I run the program, they are nicely sized, and I can change my ball, I can change my various characters. Every time I hit the space bar, it changes the character. That's good. So we are getting there. We are getting very, very close to being done. What next is to be done is whenever I move the character, I need to have some fun with it. I need to have something that you might have seen in the other project. It has these things almost like a shadow behind it, and it changes color. So to do this effect, what we need to do is change the color effect. So we are going to change color, Every time it moves by 5 values. That means like a rainbow color, it'll first go from red, then change it to yellow, red, orange, yellow, and so on and so forth. So that's the color effect that will change the colors. As you see right here, it's changing colors. What I don't have is some form of a stamping where I can see the shadows that it left behind. It doesn't show any trails right now. In order to do a trail, I need to go back to the pen and do a stamp command like so. Once you have the stamp command, you will see it starts getting really interesting, right? And I can hit the clear button and start all over again. It's getting very, very close. There's only one thing missing now. If you saw when I started, it is very, very regular. You see this part, it's all very, very regular. It becomes really interesting if I put some random command in there. So what I'm going to do is go to motion. Right now it's very predictable. This part, all these shadows are coming one after the other. I need a little bit of shaking and moving. What I need to do is put a turn command right here and then go to random, and I'm going to vary between -30 to +30 so that it shakes a bit. So now if I run the program, if you see, it's no longer regular. It has a nice effect that you can use. I can change the path like this, and you can clear and start all over again or use different characters. So that is the whole game, and enjoy yourself. You can absolutely change the characters by going to costumes and adding more characters and make it even interesting. Thank you very much. Enjoy playing with Scratch. Thank you.